What's that? We're back. Yes.
Are we?
Yeah. So this is a bonus cast. You don't have to listen to this. This is going to be a lot of assorted rambling.
As the prophets were told.
Right.
And eating.
We literally just spent 2 hours talking about Infinity War. There are still some things I want to talk to you guys about, and bring some stuff up that I didn't think were super relevant to the movie itself. So that we're going to kind of talk about those things. And then just kind of a general MCU overall kind of feeling. Brian and Sam are eating,
like
so
I would have been
just
more okay
kind of
with
deal
the
with
way
it.
the movie ended if it had ended with Sweet Child of Mine playing.
Brian, shut the fuck up. What was the first thing I was going to say? And now I fucking forgot. So, Brian, I'm actually a little bit upset with you for being upset with the fucking naming conventions. Like, and you want to know why? You want to know why? And I won't say the name of the group because I don't want the potential crossover if one of them ever actually listens to us, if we ever try to promote on that shit.
So, like,
No, you shut up. You shut up before you wait. There was a guy in that Facebook group that was absolutely fucking livid that the movie did not have a part 1 in it, and was just like, he was like, it ruined the entire fucking experience for me. And
well, that's stupid.
no, like, I don't fucking know. I have no fucking idea. And it kind of was like, why are you like I get your concern for it, Brian, and that's fine. But like you explained what it was.
I think you're getting the wrong impression. Like, the problem that I have isn't that it is a part 1, it's that I knew beforehand that it was a part 1.
Gotcha.
If I had gone in not knowing it was a part 1, that would have been way more.
And you cut out. Because of course you
God damn it.
It's fine.
If I had gone in knowing that it was a part 1, or not knowing part 1, that would have been way more important for my film experience.
Gotcha.
Again, 95, or what did I say, 98? I don't remember. 90% of the people are gonna fucking know it's a fucking part 1.
I get that, Sam.
So listen to this. Listen.
So this plebe, no. This plebe needs to shut the fuck up and fucking pay attention to the goddamn fucking internet that his age is in. So he needs... Okay, I'm gonna shut up now.
Right. So he was saying like...
Oh, you're talking about him, and you're not calling me a plebe. Okay.
So he was saying...
No, you're fine.
I'm kind of pissed because when Infinity War was announced, it was announced as 2 films, and then Marvel backed off, and then they said, no, Infinity War is just going to be 1 film now. And... But if you're going to announce it as 1 film, then do it as 1 complete film. This clearly is part of it, is the first of 2 planned films, and the tag at the end, Thanos will return, was a giveaway, and that pissed me off. I'm irritated that they backed off from the 2-film promotion because of the way it was setting up this film up. I expected a single complete film because of what Marvel said. Beginning, middle, and end. We don't get that. It's a very incomplete story. I'm fine with incomplete stories, but fuck, man, prepare me for that shit. Tell me straight up it's a 2-parter like they did for It last year, or Lord of the Rings, where it's a 3-part film. They should have just called it Infinity War Part 1, and I would have had 0 complaints this morning had they just called the movie that. I'd be singing its praises to anyone who would listen today. But they didn't do that, and I'm pissed.
That's
John,
the dumbest argument I've ever heard.
Right?
You're proving my point.
Right?
Like, so...
What?
Number 1... They never said that it wasn't going to be a part 1. All they did was change the titles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
Number 2, that is the dumbest argument you could possibly have for disliking an otherwise great film.
Right, because it didn't have a part 1. I was reading the comment. I was like, "What the fuck is your problem,
That would be like,
dude?"
I fucking hate the Green Mile because it's called green.
Like the naming convention of it has no bearing on whether or not it's a good movie. So to say like your entire experience was ruined because of that kind of like, he even says like, I'm not disappointed in the film itself, but the setup of saying it was going to be 1 film and then clearly making Act 1 and 2 really pisses me off. And then here's the second part of that. It's going to kind of frustrate you even more because there's a continuation of it.
God damn.
Also,
like, here's the big thing. Now I'm going to take my kids to this, and before we step foot into the theater, I'm going to warn them clearly, kids, this is really Infinity War Part 1. There's a Part 2
so
coming.
You're going to ruin the experience for your kids because
Because you're a petulant child, you can't fucking deal with it.
You understand that kids aren't following the news. They're going to go in and be like, oh my god.
But, okay, here's even more to that, right? But you and I know from the comics how this can play out. My kids, they aren't going to know. My 11-year-old is going to see Spider-Man die, his favorite character since he was 2 years old, and he's just going to start bawling, all because Marvel didn't create an expectation of a second half. Even if they created an expectation for a second half, that does not mean he's coming back. Yes, they have a second movie coming out, and that's fine. Like, you can use that as an excuse. But what the fuck does that have to do with the movie title convention? Like, the movie naming, and then the... Fuck that.
Also,
fuck that entirely.
Why is it in? It bothers me that his argument is like, I have to know going in that this is how this is gonna happen. Like that ruins the point of even going to see a film.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's like it. Hugh, I hate to bring it up, but it's like going to see Empire Strikes Back in the fucking 70s or 80s. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Like. Nobody's gonna fucking know that shit. And when you drop that hammer, you're like, "Oh my god!"
Spoiler, Sam.
Like, you didn't spoil anything. Thank you.
Right. But
all he said also, that they dropped, there wasn't even a hammer in the movie.
It was an X. No, and then it's a continuation. Like this entire fun comment just pissed me off. I expected a single film because of the way they marketed this and the title change. I got the first half of a 2-part film instead. That fucks with a person's expectations big time. And I'm an adult. Imagine the impact this is going to have on an 11-year-old kid. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes.
That's their demographic they're going for. 11-year-old children for this movie.
What is this man's definition of an adult?
Right.
10 years of world building in movie form that has never been done. Cinematic history.
Your kid was 1 when this entire thing happened.
Cinematic history, and yes, we're aiming for our 11-year-old demographic because God forbid.
Yeah.
Also, this movie had a fucking beginning, middle, and end, so he can shut the fuck up.
Right. And then the last part, and then I'll let it go to rest. I had to say something about it. I think I already said. The people sitting in the theater around me who have never read the comics, they were pissed. The lady next to me was about to riot over Groot being killed. I know it is because none of them follow the film industry, so none of them knew this was a 2-part film. They think this shit is permanent. That lady was incensed and she wasn't the only one, and she was an adult. I mean, folks were upset and crushed. If that's the reaction Marvel was after, well, they got what they wanted.
That was the reaction they were after.
I just think the reaction to this film would have been better with the title Infinity War Part 1. It would have set a proper expectations. Fuck that. Fuck that entire fucking argument and reasoning behind that. I don't subscribe to that at all. Like, I'm all for people's opinions and whatnot, but saying that the naming convention of the movie, well, okay, there's always exceptions, and I guess the exception to that would be World War Z, because if they had not called it World War Z, I probably would have liked it a little bit better.
Yeah, but if that had been called anything other than World War Z, it would have been fine.
But
yeah,
like the movie was still bad. Like it's not even, well, it wasn't great. But the point,
it was entertaining.
His point about I don't.
Why do you need to be explicit? Were you explicitly told that The Last Jedi was the second film of a 3-part trilogy?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right, and
Were you explicitly told that the Justice League was the continuation of Batman versus Superman?
Right. And that's my thing. Like that. So like when you were talking about the naming convention, I was like, I know Brian is not about to agree with this motherfucker. So I'm glad you don't. Like when you explained it, I was like, okay, Brian's not saying the same thing. But when you were saying it, I was like, Brian's about to piss me the fuck off. Like, because I've been wanting to talk to you about that fucking post since we saw the movie. And I was like, I'm gonna bring it up on like one of the podcasts because I need validation that this is stupid. So that's kind of
that's like my argument turned up 10 degrees.
Also, can I just say the fact that it's getting emotional reaction from people just shows how well they made art in general.
Exactly.
Like his fucking point is fucking worthless at that.
Right.
Ugh.
Exactly. That's kind of what I wanted to lead with because that was the first thing on my mind. Second thing,
Thanks for ruining the rest of my night.
going to that Facebook group just automatically.
Now I have to know that that person exists in.
Right?
How did you not know? Like,
oh Jesus. Okay, so second thing, so the continuation of the Marvel universe. So Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel's coming in. Like I said, we briefly touched on it, and maybe I'll move that part to this part. Maybe I'll get rid of that. Maybe that'll cut a good chunk out. If we expand upon that more in here, I'll take the chunk out where we talk about potential future things. We'll see. I'll go back and edit it. But, dude, I'm really looking forward to seeing Brie Larson because we know it takes place in the past, but you did bring up a good point that the movie doesn't necessarily have to stay there. Like, they could jump to another time. I mean, I hope we see on screen
Like,
her getting the distress
I'd be willing
signal.
to bet that it'll be similar to like a Captain America type.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll see a good chunk of her origin set in the past, and then we'll see what's going on in the present.
Gotcha.
Because this movie is going to lead into Phase 4, correct?
I believe so, yes.
yes.
So, like, they can't. I don't feel like they can do that by setting something past without having the ramifications of it shown in the present.
For sure. Like, I already know I'm going to geek out if they show on screen when she gets the distress call. That's going to be awesome. Like, just to see the connection being made between the movies.
But, like, just knowing that that's who Fury's calling in to solve this problem, like, Jesus, she's going to be so ridiculously powerful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it'll be interesting. And, right, we saw Strange fucking throwdown, and if that wasn't enough, like, what's next? Like, what's Power Cosmic going to be like in this MCU?
Power Cosmic. I really want Power Cosmic.
What-
We've yet to see it.
One of the things we didn't talk about in the cast was, fuck, who was it? Xandar was destroyed.
Yes, we didn't talk about that.
So I think that is going to play into whenever they bring Nova in.
Because they did talk about, so the movies that they're bringing up that are potential are Moon Knight, Eternals, and Nova, right?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I
So
really want to see like, I'm sorry.
and I'm kind of glad that they didn't necessarily show Thanos on Xandar because we already saw Xandar kind of competing with the Power Stone. So
if they didn't show Xandar and they do a Nova film, they can show Xandar from Nova.
Gotcha. Yeah, for sure.
Because that's going to be where the Power Cosmic for Nova comes from.
Exactly. So no, I'm totally fine with that and what they're kind of setting up. I don't know. So we talked about they could do the Kree Skrull War. They can do Secret Invasion. You thinking they could also potentially do House of M with Wanda?
Like, it'd be a stretch, but I think they can. I don't think you can rule it out.
For sure. I agree with that.
I would say otherwise. Just based off of, I know it's very hard to go off of promotional content, but she very much, like, if you watch the actual thing, it seemed like she knows of House of M because they probably talked to her about it, but I don't think that she
knows what would go into necessarily making that work in the MCU, not necessarily like
the way that
general.
she describes it doesn't seem like she sees that on the plate.
Gotcha.
On the table.
Fair enough.
Is what I'm trying.
Unless that's like how she was told to talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
Marvel's
but,
done a pretty good job of misdirection.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know about that.
I will say
so
I'm still hoping for Secret War because there's still a potential for bringing
Because in
in
the promotional stuff, didn't they show Thanos only having 2 stone gauntlet when Cap was fighting him?
Yeah, I think so. He didn't have all 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've done subtle misdirections. I think though until the deal goes through, because I know they said they're even if the deal goes through with Fox, like they're not going to change anything at least up until I think 2020. So
Yeah.
they can do Kree Skrull stuff, and then maybe Phase 5 or 6 be like, oh, now that we got the mutants, Secret War,
See,
let's
like,
fucking go.
I think what they could do if they really wanted to do any of that would be to do like Secret Invasion,
Mm-hmm.
and then have that trigger some interdimensional event.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's a lot that they could do. I think that the most likely, like, I still really want Annihilation, like, more than anything.
Brian said Annihilation for those listening. He got out again.
Sorry.
There you go.
But yeah, like, more than anything, I want to see that story arc, especially if they're going to be able to bring in Silver Surfer and Galactus.
Oh, dude, what if when Tony finally meets up with Thor again and they're talking, because, and that's the other thing, Tony's still off planet, so he with Nebula. Dude, what if what we're talking about was right? Like, Tony meets up with Thor and they're like, well, what happened? And he explains that he, stabbed Thanos with his, with the Stormbringer. And then Tony's like, oh, well, can we get more of those styles of weapons kind of shit? And then takes him to the forge. That would be fucking awesome.
I can entirely see that happening.
Right?
So, Annihilation is fear itself, right? It's the same thing.
No, fear itself is an entirely different thing.
Yeah.
Like, fear itself...
Get educated, Sam.
Essentially what kicks off Ragnarok.
I thought... Never mind. Anyway, continue.
Fear itself is basically a whole bunch of god-level people show up. Well, is it... Like, they convert a bunch of a number of the Marvel heroes into these godlike creatures, and they don't have any way of defeating them. So then Tony finds out about the forge, and he goes and forges weapons to fight the threat.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought fear itself was, because the
that is
thing...
fear itself.
Right, that is fear itself, not Annihilation. Annihilation is Annihilus shows up, imprisons Galactus, uses the power cosmic to try and wipe out the entire galaxy.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Gotcha.
Then I've read Fear Itself, but not Annihilation.
There you
That's
go.
the difference. Okay.
You should read Annihilation because it's better than.
So
I think what would be more interesting is if I really want them to bring in the Watcher. I think that would be.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Especially like they showed something similar to it with Dan Lee cameo.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Watchers.
The aliens. Yeah.
They've already hinted at the Watchers being a thing.
For sure. No, it'll be. I'm super excited to see where they go. Like, I can be super excited about what's happening next with Thanos, but then also be super excited, like, well, what's next kind of shit, right? So.
Yeah.
And I think this kind of shows that they learned from Ultron, and they're kind of
yes,
because the movies have just been getting increasingly better, dude. Like Thor, Civil War, and Winter Soldier. The Avengers films. Black Panther was phenomenal. Strange, I fucking loved. Like the movies, I feel like have been getting better and better. One of the things I want to bring up that I've been wanting to talk to y'all for a minute, especially how it relates to this being a part 1 and potentially part 2 making it better. So I remember talking about Captain America 1 and being like, I wasn't really feeling it kind of shit. But
really,
yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad, but it definitely wasn't like if I go back and listen to the first podcast and we talk about, I think I specifically talk about Captain America's first film, and I was just kind of like, just whatever on it. After doing some talking with my pops about it, I came to this realization that the reason that I like Winter Soldier and Civil War so much is because of the setup in the first one. Like, if I ignore the first film, right, then I don't get to see Cap doing any and everything possible for the United States, right? He's like, I'm going to try to join the war effort even though I'm weak. And then when he got the super soldier serum, he was like, I want to fight. And the government was like, well, we want to use you as propaganda. And he was like, well, I don't want to, but if that's what's going to help, then I'll fucking do it, right? Like, he was like very much, whatever you ask me to do, I'm going to do because I want to help out and whatever. Yeah. So to see that and then see that subtle shift in Winter Soldier with the distrust of kind of the government and like what they're doing, or at least like S.H.I.E.L.D.'s relation to it. and then just like the full turn in Civil War, like I don't feel the impact as much if the first Captain America movie didn't do what it did. So I have a lot more respect and praise for it now, looking back, than I did at the time, because it was so different, and it was shot kind of like as an homage to, or an homage to those styles of films, the war movies. A lot of I feel like the cinematography and the action that they used. So I think there's the potential for that with Infinity War. I think there are people that might have been like a little lost on it that they're going to correct in the second one. And again, it's kind of like what Brian was saying, like the payoff is going to help bring everybody over to be like, oh, that's why they chose to do it that way.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot more respect for the first Captain America movie now than I did when it first came out. I definitely was just kind of like meh on it. So,
surprise.
It's the opposite of what DC's done. And that every film has been progressively better.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to, it seems like the films have been getting progressively worse.
Well, look at how they handled their OP characters, right? Like, Hulk was benched for a specific reason, and it felt organic in the film, right? I'm trying to think who was their other like heavy hitter that was
Thor.
Thor was benched for a very organic reason. He lost his hammer in the previous fucking movie, right? And then he fought Thanos and got fucking destroyed. So he was like, this is what I got to do to compete. It felt organic enough in the universe to say, this is why our character's benched. And even with the and just like with the people dying, like, yes, there's future movies coming out, but it felt more genuine than when fucking Superman died. Way more genuine.
Yeah.
Like, it had way more of an impact.
It made more sense.
Exactly. And shit, I got off subject. But the characters were benched, and it made sense. In Justice League, when Superman wasn't fighting with them at the start of it, like, you're just like, why isn't he here already? Why are we, right? And again, Superman didn't outwit, see, I don't even remember his fucking name. What is his name? Steppenwolf. He didn't outwit him. The Avengers,
he just punched him hard.
Justice League didn't outsmart him necessarily, right? Yeah, Cyborg separated the cubes because they realized that was going to save the terraforming of the planet, more or less.
Right.
But that wasn't like, that didn't hinge on them beating Steppenwolf. It was like, we're just going to try to beat the shit out of him. And then when they couldn't, Superman was like, oh, I can beat the shit out of you. And then he did. And then it was
just all of it. Like, Steppenwolf's motive was very vague.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very uninteresting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
there
crazy.
was nothing vague about Thanos. Thanos was the Mad Titan. Thanos wanted to bring balance to the entire universe.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
So, in his crazy sense of justice, he was like, this is the only real way to do it, and it's fair to everybody, so I don't know why everyone's so upset.
Yeah, it was very much a calculated thing. So speaking of that kind of thing, I definitely think that they made the right moves as far as the development of the characters. How do you guys think they're gonna? What implications do you think Stephen Strange had for how this is gonna be reversed? Somebody was saying like it could be another time loop thing. I think it's gonna be, or I think it could be related to what Brian was saying, partly about the Soul Stone or the Mind Stone, but also
I think honestly the best way for them to do it would be to mention not to do time.
Mm-hmm.
And that they just kind of find an alternate reality
mm-hmm.
and work around that.
See, I don't know if they could do that, but it would be interesting if they tried it.
They could do it with the Power Cosmic. Like, that's the thing. If you bring in the Power Cosmic, it's like the only thing other than the Infinity Stones that can do just as much ridiculous shit.
Mm-hmm.
So they could really do anything. I think that Ant-Man is going to be very important to how they set that up.
For sure.
And I think because of that, we'll probably see some kind of playing with time.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't think that they're going to just be able to what happened. They're going to have to find some way to what happened.
Gotcha. Some people, do you think they're going to bring Lady Death into part 2 as any sort of like continual?
I feel like at this point it's a little too late for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if they wanted to do that, I think like the last opportunity they had to do it was with Hell.
Gotcha. And that makes sense. Like I definitely agree with that. Like I definitely saw that as potentially where they were going. Again, I don't necessarily think that it's a bad thing that they're shying away from that. Like, they've been very careful to not jump to these super crazy comic book concepts to not lose the audience. Like, I feel like they've been very, I think now you're definitely at that point where you can kind of just throw anything at the audience and they'll kind of roll with it. But I definitely think before this point, like people were worried, oh, well, the Guardians are, like a C team as far as like comic book notoriety. How's the audience going to react? They loved it. Strange introduced magic, and people were like, is this going to turn people off because it's something that has yet to be talked about even at all in this entire
No, it's
universe?
going to turn people off because somebody was white.
Shut the fuck up.
Also, you didn't tell me that Doctor Strange movie was the first movie.
What do you mean?
Yeah. How did we know that it was Doctor Strange #1?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry I didn't inform you with a numbered. That's why I was specifically saying that thing when I was saying it in the podcast. I was like, I don't subscribe to having numbered titles as a form of like, because I was really like, Brian is not about to fucking agree with this guy. I'm sorry. Like I was like, Brian, I thought fucking so much better of you. And then like when you were saying it, I was like, Brian is just like, I don't even want to associate this motherfucker anymore. But, what was I going to talk about next? So I found an article, and it's, whatever you want to say, if it's unprofessional. I'm not a professional podcaster, so I don't give a shit.
Professional?
Yeah.
Are we getting paid?
If we get advertisements.
We getting paid and you didn't tell us?
Oh, sorry, guys.
Right?
Like pennies.
I want to share those pennies.
Right?
So I found an article, and I'll give credit to Dorkly who found it, who wrote it. Go check it out. But it's let's read some old, incredibly wrong comments about Marvel movies. And I thought at the 10-year anniversary it'd be interesting to read these to you guys, because I want your opinions on kind of like, this is where the community was 10 years ago, right? This is what the expectations were of superhero films 10 years ago, as far as the actors or directors, and just kind of gauge your responses to what people originally wrote about it. So the first one's about Jon Favreau, as director of Iron Man. Sorry, but Favs can't convince me. I fell asleep during Zathura, a very one-dimensional film. He should be directing CSI, not big-budget films. And as we all know, Iron Man was fucking awesome.
Zathura wasn't that bad.
Someone was like, cast Timothy Oliphant or Billy Crudup as Tony Stark instead of RDJ.
Wow.
I don't know who either of those people are.
I couldn't see Tim.
I don't know who either of those people are, so I can't.
He's I mean, you probably haven't seen it. Lead actor from Justified.
I know who the lead actor is. I don't know. I haven't seen him in it, but yeah, I know who the lead actor is. So that was just like Jon Favreau. This is about RDJ as Tony Stark. One comment was, please God, no, with like 24 O's and like 10 exclamation points. So obviously wrong, right? Other comment was, personally, I think he's too old and not that good looking. And then decided to randomly throw in, but I'm a dude, so I don't check out guys a lot. He needs to get in shape though. And like, it was really weird reading that. Because it's like, wait.
He
That's
was
the
in
thing
shape.
actors don't be talking about.
Right.
He was in shape in the first one.
No, yeah. But it's funny like that he threw that in, but then still commented on his appearance to be like, well, don't check out guys, but he definitely needs to work out kind of shit. And then this is the longest comment, sorry. this is an unmitigated disaster. I can't think of anybody worse to play Tony Stark than Robert Downey Jr. What the fuck was Marvel thinking? When I think of Tony Stark, I think of machoism, intellect, and a stern backbone. Do any of us think any of these things when we think about RDJ? That little creep is 5'9". Robert Downey Jr., a superhero, larger than life? It's incomprehensible. Will they shoot the movie from the inevitable drug rehab clinic, which Downey will eventually end up in? This casting now tells me how much money and energy Marvel is willing to spend on this movie. None. Is this really the first choice the head honchos at Marvel wanted? I can't imagine the producers at Marvel were sitting around one day and RDJ was the first person who came to their minds. I had high hopes for this movie. Now I know it will be trash.
See, this is why fanboys get a reputation.
Mm-hmm. like
straight up.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm more than willing to give people benefit of the doubt. I gave Jesse Eisenberg benefit of the doubt. He disappointed me for the most part as Lex. But, like, fine. I'm willing to give you that benefit. Heath Ledger is a perfect example. But, I mean, RDJ wasn't, like... RDJ had proven himself acting before. Yes, he had drug and alcohol abuse problems. But it wasn't like he was a bad actor from the get-go, right? He had skill.
Yes.
He had talent.
Yes.
For me, personally, I think that Marvel made a good choice to stick with Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know about anybody else, but I don't give a shit about Iron Man. So if that movie flopped, who was going to care?
Exactly.
And then it ended up being amazing. So they were like, let's just keep going.
Exactly.
That was like the Hulk started, actually was the first one.
Right.
I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if you had to follow up with something as good, or I mean better, sorry. So, plus his personality really lent to everything, and without him, dude, there wouldn't really be.
He single-handedly personified Tony Stark. That was everyone's comment. Like, he embodies that character, and despite the missteps from the Iron Man 2, and some of the missteps from 3, right, where the studios were still kind of learning like what they needed to do to progress these characters, it still carried that in.
Never make another Dark.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, it still carried the scene into what it is now. Like, you can't shortchange what he himself did to help bring this forward. So
yeah,
it's interesting, right? Like 10 years later, we look back at that and be like, you guys are fucking stupid. Like, you guys are idiots, right? This is on Chris Evans.
Well, just like, all I'm saying is, like, I've never had any strong feelings about it because they started with a character I didn't care about.
Exactly. So this is on Chris Evans as Captain America.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Too bad Chris Evans is way too young to be Captain America. Let's face it. He's great as a smartass like the Human Torch. All wrong for Cap. I entirely disagree with that statement. Like,
So I as somebody that loves Fantastic Four and actually watched the Fantastic Four movies, I can actually kind of understand where this person is coming from. But
I never felt
actually watching him made a complete difference.
I never felt that Chris Evans was the type of actor that could, like, in the couple movies that I've seen, to me he always felt a little awkward as that kind of smart ass character. I never bought into him being that person because he was that character as Johnny Storm, but then I watched Push because I wanted to watch Push, and he's still kind of that character, and for me it never sit right. It didn't words. God damn it.
The only character that he did where he actually did it well, in my opinion, was when he played Lucas Lee in Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah. No, but even that's a different character, right?
Right.
But I'm saying
he's still like a cocky young guy.
Well, but it wasn't that like smart ass, like smart aleck kind of thing that Johnny Storm is kind of known for, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that's just Fox doesn't know how to cast 90% of the time.
Yeah.
And then they happen to get a Hugh Jackman.
Exactly.
Was it? But did y'all see Sunrise?
Mm-mm.
I think it's called the where like they're sent into space and Chris Evans is one of the guys that is sent into space.
Mm-mm.
And in that movie he felt more like Johnny Blaze than in the actual
Johnny Storm.
Fantastic Johnny Storm.
Yeah, Johnny Blaze is Ghost Rider, sir.
Yeah.
Oh right, that's right. Well, the point is, he felt like more of like that.
Is that your favorite fire-based character in Marvel history?
No,
Nicolas
I like
Cage entirely personifies that character.
what's this? Sunfire.
Yeah.
It's her name is Starfire, sir. She's a Tamaranian.
No. There's a Sunfire.
How dare you?
There's a Pyro. Fuck, I don't know.
But no,
it's an X-Men.
but no, like it just always felt awkward to me. So, but seeing him as Cap, I love him as Cap, dude. And it's not that Chris Evans can't be funny, because like watching interviews with him, he's funny, but like the writing and his portrayal of Cap just like really sticks with me. I prefer that Chris Evans to smart ass Johnny Storm personally, but
Cap,
it's like actor paid to act.
right.
So here's another one about that. I really like Evans, and he's my first choice out of the current crop, but I gotta be honest that I was really pulling for Hedlund most recently. He would have been the best choice in my honest opinion. Too bad Marvel's trying to go as cheap as possible. Might just bite him in the ass. Didn't.
Wait, who was that? Mine cut out.
It was about Chris Evans again.
Who was their first choice? No, what?
Hedlund.
Who?
Hedlund, Hedlund.
I don't even know who that is.
Let's see.
I have
Hold
no
on.
idea.
Hedlund, Captain America. Garrett Hedlund.
Who is this
What
guy?
movies?
I mean, pull up his
Four
filmography.
Brothers, Aragon, Tron Legacy. Oh, yeah, I can't see this
Oh, that guy.
guy.
No.
Never mind.
that was this guy's first pick. Disregard. And then okay, so this is the last one about Chris Evans. Not a huge fan of Chris Evans, but I won't dismiss him outright. I think it comes down to the writing and storyline more than the actor's fit. My immediate issues: one, he looks too young. I'll always remember a captain. I fucking hate the way this guy writes, by the way, because he refers to him like as captain, and I prefer Cap or whatever, Steve,
The captain,
or Rogers. But
I am the captain.
I will always remember a captain as someone not fresh out of college, but somewhat experienced World War II fighter. Two, he looks too smug. The best thing about Cap was that it was never all about Cap. He had a job to do and went to doing it. None of this damn I look good nonsense from the Human Torch brings. Three, he probably won't fit into the suit perfectly. I don't know why that's a fucking criticism, because their suits are tailor-made. Which means either it will look odd the entire movie, or they ditch the suit and go a different route. And honestly, what is Cap without his suit? That's like Iron Man without the iron part. I don't fucking... This dumb fucking comment. But, yeah, it's really weird, because, like, I remember hearing all the criticisms of, like, Ledger for Joker. I don't remember hearing a lot of stuff bad about Evans being Captain America. I don't remember it, and that doesn't mean it didn't happen, right? I don't know if either of you guys...
I never did either.
I don't, but I also didn't really follow a whole lot of it on the internet.
Fair enough. So I haven't read these yet, so these are kind of fresh for me too. So this is on Chris Hemsworth as Thor. If this is legit... Now let us take a moment to shed a tear for Alexander Skarsgård.
Skarsgård?
Yeah. So I don't know.
That's
Kid's like 13 years old, isn't he? Are you fucking kidding me? Another CW teen heartthrob cast job? Nice going, fellas.
Do you know who Alexander Skarsgård is, right?
Yes.
I won't say I will, because I don't.
It's he's from True Blood. I could see Alexander Skarsgård playing Thor, but I think Hemsworth at this point is just too integral, and he's actually made the character his own.
Yeah, he's definitely made it Thor his kind of like, I want Thor to kind of go in this direction. So yeah. Well, there's one Marvel movie I can write the fuck off. I thought Ghost Rider had cured them of shitty casting, but apparently not. This dude looks like a chick with facial hair. Are there any men doing movies anymore, or is this going to be another High School Musical type shit fest a la Star Trek 90210? Like,
so, he in the first one, Q or somebody. Does anybody like? There's a recent article saying that the Kevin, what's his face? I don't remember how he says his last name. Farview. He said he regrets dyeing Hemsworth's hair blonde.
mm-hmm.
Did y'all see that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he was like, I totally regret doing that because in the first one he maybe not the best.
No, I agree with the point that, again, Thor is probably one of my least favorite movies. I actually want to go watch it again. There were parts that were okay, but
as it stands right now, like, I absolutely love the character for Thor. I think he looks just so badass.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of sad that he lost the eye patch because I thought it looked better.
It did look pretty
right.
boss. I did like that.
Right.
But I think it also plays back to, like, it's less intentional than Captain America. How I was saying how, like, you need the first one to understand why he is the way he is. I think it was less intentional than that, but it definitely lends gravity to where Thor is now based off of how he was in the first one.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think, again, you don't have the impact. Again, I don't think they planned for it as well. Because, remember, 3 was supposed to keep getting darker, and then they were like, why don't we kind of lighten the tone up just a little bit? And it fucking made a wonder, like a fucking world of difference.
After everything that has happened within the MCU, you have to make things lighter because everything was getting a little too dark, I feel.
Gotcha. And a bunch of quick snapshots of for the Thor one. God damn it, I wanted Sean Bean. Can't wait to laugh at this shit fest. He was in Home and Away, was fine in Star Trek, but was better than he was better than fine. This is awful. Whoever's bright idea this was ought to be shot. The guy doesn't resemble an image of Thor in the slightest. Makes me sick. Interesting.
He played literally like 5 minutes in 2009 Star Trek. You cannot base his acting premise off of that. I'm sorry.
For sure.
Fuck you.
They talk about Ed Norton, but because he's not really in it, it doesn't really matter. But just Norton unsure about Avengers movie, probably not. But it would hurt the so far awesome and very promising Marvel movieverse for many of us, if banners, like the fact that the Hulk was going to be in the Avengers, they're talking about that, how they thought that it was going to kind of ruin the film if the Hulk was involved in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
People don't.
Kevin Feige had a good run, but he seems to be really fucking up the Hulk for the Avengers film. Shit sucks. I don't know, man. I don't fucking know. I have no idea. Okay, like, again, these are random people on the internet from fucking 8 years ago, but
right.
So question, y'all. Kind of pertaining to everything that you're discussing right now. How would y'all feel about going through all of the Marvel movies, minus Infinity War because we just saw it, or like any of the Phase 4 stuff? I would say like Black Panther and stuff. Like, would y'all want to go through with it and discuss it, considering everything that's led up to this point?
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I don't know if we'd do it all. Like, we'd talk about the trilogies as a whole, or like the sets of movies.
No, I'm talking about each movie individually. Like, watch the movie and then individually. Like,
we could. About. I'm not opposed to that.
It gives
Sam,
us something to watch since John will never watch Bright.
Sam, I'm going to be totally opposed to doing anything that could. I almost feel like you're kind of like baiting people with that comment. Not that we have any more than one fan, but It's kind of like
no.
when YouTubers are like, they're right. They'll play a game. They're like, I could play more of this game, but it's really up to you guys. If you guys go down and like and comment, then I'll definitely I can set some time aside to keep playing it. And it's like, we know you're gonna keep fucking playing the game, jackass. Like, don't like like you're gonna look at it, and if it gets over 1 million views, you're gonna fucking keep playing it. Like, it doesn't matter like what they say, right? Like, you're gonna do things that are gonna put more content out because you want more views, because you want more money. So why are you trying to bait people, Sam?
What I'm saying is that we need to subvert the expectations so they can like, comment, and subscribe, and then we can be like, "Fuck you, we're not gonna do that."
Psych.
Well, I guess for me, it's just like, I kind of want to go back and watch them all, but that's like a lot of stuff, and I don't want to do it.
I agree.
I'd prefer to do like a collective, like watch all the Thor films and all the Iron Man films and all the Captain America.
And talk about them as a whole set. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I like that.
Talk about each of them as like a story arc for that character.
For sure.
That could be interesting.
Okay.
Because there's not much to talk about Thor 1.
Pepper is a terrible character.
I will say I'll be in the vast minority that says that Iron Man 2 is better than the first Iron Man.
Well, yes, you're wrong for that, but that's fine.
Well, I don't know.
It's
Black
fine.
Widow's in the second one, so
that's true. Man, dude, I can't wait. Scarlett Johansson is just amazing.
I can't wait for her to die.
Shut up. Okay, so check this out. These are the last couple of comments, and these are about Avengers and universe building. So, diverse universe. Excuse my English, but you ain't Vertigo, Mr. Feige. You don't have the X franchise and are waiting on Fantastic Four. Once you get past Runaways, the field thins out quickly to Cloak and Dagger, Luke Cage level stuff, which are all just variations on a similar theme.
Okay.
I'd like to point out that the X franchise is not doing so well outside of Logan being good and Deadpool being good. Fantastic Four has been absolute shit. And Runaways was a big fucking disappointment. And I want you guys to watch it so we can talk about how much of a fucking disappointment that was to me.
I've seen it.
Sam,
I've seen it. God
damn it. Why is it called The Runaways if they don't fucking run away until the goddamn last episode? It's so fucking stupid.
So
I think I talked about, we might have mentioned this in the last goddamn podcast, but no.
You did.
Did I?
Q's never gonna watch Runaways because he's never gonna subscribe to Hulu, which is fine.
No, he's gonna subscribe to Hulu because he's going to watch My Hero Academia.
Yeah, I'm actually getting Hulu so I can watch My Hero Academia.
Okay, I will save my reservations about that.
Runaways?
Then I will wait.
Okay,
I will wait for
dude,
you to watch it
the
so we can have a discussion.
Like the entire, and we'll do a episode by episode cast. That's fine with me because, like, and I don't absolutely hate the show. There are good moments in it, but like there are just things that really irritate the shit out of me with that fucking show.
Real quick, John, just before not to go super into it, but have you read the comics of the Runaway comics?
I haven't gotten too far into it, but yeah, I've read like maybe like 6-7 issues in.
Before watching the show, those.
Yes.
Okay, that might be the difference because I did not hate it, and I don't think it was a disappointment as much as you will, but we'll discuss that.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Seeing as I've read the comics, I'm probably gonna with John.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, no, you're gonna hate it. You're gonna fucking absolutely hate it.
If Captain America is gonna be set in World War II, how would Stark build his shield for him? Does Stark also build a time machine? Whatever.
Did they not read
how comic books made that happen?
What the fuck? Seriously?
I do like the uninformed opinions about Marvel movies because it's just interesting, right? Like we take it for granted that we've grown up with this stuff and we've like actively gone out of our way to like read it. But yeah, there's like a whole.
I feel like these people are actively going out of their way to not read.
John, there is a difference between not being naive and being stupid. Being naive means you're like, I don't know, tell me more, like learning about it, versus being stupid, which is I don't want to know anymore. This is my uninformed opinion. This is stupid. He's oh my God.
Right. Okay. So this is the one. This is the biggest one. who cares about this cameo? Two other things I read in this post made me worried. Crossovers. Quote, crossovers. It's the future of movie making. Quote, end quote, new quote. If you thought The Dark Knight had one hell of an opening weekend, just wait until the Avengers open on July 15th, 2011. End quote. Seriously? Crossovers are the future? They're dodgy, jarring gags which do nothing but destroy the world a character is supposed to be rooted in. And as for the Avengers movie actually being good, what the hell are you smoking? Joint superhero movies absolutely cannot be done right. The only reason superhero movies can survive on their own is because the worlds they're set in can be toned and structured to make it all seem plausible. Each superhero needs their own world with their own terms of technology, society, and realism. Mixing them all together just throws away any immersion, or throws any immersion out the window and turns it into one giant 8-year-old's fantasy.
That's
to be
dumb.
fair. Well, hold up.
No.
To be fair. No.
Like, at the time, crossovers, like, he's right.
Yes, that's my point.
But
At the time, yes, I can understand his sentiment in this because what crossovers do you have? You have like really random like what's the first crossover that was ever done? Fucking Frankenstein, Wolfman, and Dracula.
mm-hmm.
And then it's been like random bullshit ever since then, up until Marvel solidified it.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand his point.
I can understand,
he's wrong at this point.
I can understand being skeptical, but I think that goes beyond being skeptical. Like
yeah,
like I would say you could say that you don't have faith that it can be done right, but I was always of the opinion that it can be done, and it's going to be fucking difficult, but it can be done, and they pulled it off. And add to that, I think the superhero movie genres would have been, I think we would have hit fatigue if Marvel had never decided to do crossovers. I think if each movie was its own thing, right? If Iron Man was Iron Man universe, if Thor was Thor universe, I think then we would see a fatigue that people were kind of expecting by now. But I think by making that decision to do the universe, it kind of revitalizes it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Yeah.
But I absolutely love that. Because we literally just talk about all the films kind of brought their own spin into the movie. Okay, and you'll love this one. You'll absolutely love this one. Unfortunately, I smell a fail coming on. I just don't think Whedon is up to the challenge. This needs Favreau, right? Favreau. Or maybe Snyder. Or George Miller would have been cool. Whedon just doesn't have the grandeur that this kind of film should have. He's a competent director, but this is way out of his wheelhouse. I love this.
Grandiose?
Is it grandiose? It's
it's
Grandeur. Grandeur. Okay. I love the Snyder name drop there. I'm glad they found that comment. Fucking Snyder.
Yeah.
Dude,
although
what do we give Snyder credit for, right? We always give credit for his action scenes, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Avengers Infinity War had anything Snyder's done as far as action, blown it out of the fucking water.
Yep.
Like hands down. Like the Russos fucking were like, "Oh, you want to see an action scene? Fucking let's go." That's how you fucking do it. So, but yeah, I found that article. I was kind of interested in reading it to you guys just because, like, again, right, hindsight, right? But to know that there were people just super harshly trashing the films before they came out, and now we're where we're at 10 years later. And it's like, man, I was kind of dumb for thinking that at the time.
I like how you booked in this with, here's a stupid comment about how somebody didn't like the movie because of naming conventions. And then here's stupid comments about people who don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Look, I was sitting on that for a while. I was like, I gotta fucking say something to these guys about this shit because it's really frustrating. I'm trying to think, what else did I say we'd talk about? I don't know. That was still off the cuff kind of shit.
Everything.
Not that the first one wasn't.
How excited I am to see Nova on the big screen.
Yeah, I know you've been waiting for that. Sam,
I'm waiting for it since Guardians of the Galaxy.
you're gonna love Deadpool, man. I'm sorry. He's gonna be one of your favorites.
Really
I think.
I'm excited because Cable looks like a fucking badass. And Cable is one of my favorite characters.
Did you see the I don't know how I know all this stuff because apparently I have all this time to waste on the internet. but Josh Brolin did say that I did watch Bright, yeah. I like Josh Brolin said that he enjoyed playing Thanos more than Cable, which I can see.
Well,
Cable's just going to be like, hey, I'm just the bad guy, slapstick.
Well, I guess I think there's more to explore with Thanos as a character. Like, well, okay, I can't speak to that.
Exactly.
I don't follow Cable. Like Brian's definitely the wiki on Cable.
There are definitely nuances that they could follow with Cable, but they're not going to because that's not the type of film that Deadpool is.
Gotcha.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think there's
a strong chance that we get a better Cable and Deadpool film down the line, but this is not going to be that.
Gotcha. Fair enough. And yeah, I mean, everyone loves playing a bad guy, right? And when you get to play the most badass motherfucker in the universe, right? Like, who wouldn't have fun with that? Who wouldn't enjoy that?
Who want to play the Mad Titan?
Right. So that'll be interesting. And then what's the one that Solo? God, man, I just don't. So I'm really skeptical on Solo. Like I want to see Glover, but I don't. I just don't feel the main actor. And again, right? Is someone gonna quote us on this 10 years from now after Solo's been like critically acclaimed and won all the Oscars? But it just I don't know. I want to see Emilia Clarke in it. Like I want to see her character just because I'm fine with that, but I don't know.
She is Khaleesi.
We can
recognizes her without.
We can talk a little bit about Venom, and then we'll close the after hours. We'll end it with Venom. Dude, the general consensus like amongst people that I talk to is that they expect a flop, man.
Yeah, because it's gonna be a giant flop. And you know why it's going to be a flop? Because Marvel's not handling it.
Right? Yeah. Dude, and it's so crazy, right? Like
why was Spider-Man so good? Marvel did it.
Right? It kind of solidifies, or it further just helps the argument that Marvel can take things and make them good. Because, right, Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, not bad films, right? I still love Amazing Spider-Man 1. I really like that movie. But, right, Sony was just struggling with how they wanted to do it.
If you want comic book films to be good, let people that make comic books do them.
Right.
It's like anything.
Don't put them in the hands of fucking executives that just want money. Because then we're just going to get fucking Mission Impossible with black shit.
Right.
also, that's why JJ worked better. And I actually liked The Force Awakens more than any of the Star Trek shit that he did because his passion was with Star Wars and it showed.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, we talked about it more in chat, but Symbiote, they need to fucking redub. They need to redub that shit. All right. That needs to be fucking gone. Like, I don't care if it looks like old school martial arts films where the lips don't match up. Like, that shit needs to go. Like, straight up. But two, I don't like the way that they're like, just from like the filmmaking part of it. Not that I'm a fucking filmmaker, but still, I don't like you said, it feels like a fucking, and I've never seen Mission Impossible, but it definitely feels like what would be in that movie with explosions and shit, and Venom shooting his symbiote tendrils out to pull cars in front of, right? Like that.
Like you don't even really need to see a Mission Impossible film. Just watch the Venom trailer and then take out the black shit. Mission Impossible.
Right? And then like I said, I talked about it in the chat. I have a problem with the scene they show in the trailer where he ramps off with the motorcycle and it gets away from him, and then the symbiote comes out of his chest and pulls it back. Like, am I supposed to think that's fucking cool? Like, I literally just saw Thanos fucking blow up a planet and throw it at the Avengers, right?
Well, like I said, just the way that they're portraying the symbiote looks stupid. It doesn't look all gooey and black and like tendrils going out all over the place. It just looks like CGI mess.
Mm-hmm. Well, it reminds me a lot of Prototype, in all honesty. Like, the imagery that it evokes reminds me of Prototype. That's a game on the 360, guys.
What's Prototype?
Prototype's an open world anti-hero game.
Oh,
also,
with the hood. I remember now. Yeah.
Why are you branding it as an anti-hero film in the fucking trailer?
Yep.
Why? Why is that what you decided to do?
It bothered me that in the scene where Venom's talking, he doesn't refer to himself as we.
I think he did.
He did.
Did he?
Yeah.
Because it didn't sound like
at the end.
Yeah.
When Venom shows up, he said, "We are."
Yeah, and he even said when Tom Hardy was like,
I was talking about there's another part in it where he's like, it's hard to explain.
Well, Tom Hardy tells him like, we're not gonna hurt people, and he's like, we can do whatever we want. He does. Now again, I have to rewatch it. I didn't really give a shit. But he does a couple times. But
maybe I just missed it. But it didn't seem like it was. It didn't seem like it was continuous throughout the trailer.
Fair enough. But yeah, dude, I don't.
But the trailer also just like a mess. The movie looks like a mess.
I don't.
Which is frustrating because I really like Tom Hardy.
Yeah, dude, I wanted like, if Sony had fucking gotten their heads out of their asses and let Marvel handle it, they could have fucking jumped straight to Flash having the symbiote.
Yeah.
And then you avoid the problems with him not having webs, because that's not really his thing, right? I don't think that's necessarily his thing.
Like, you want to talk about interesting things they could do? Just put fucking Venom in the Guardians of the Galaxy like they did in the comics. That would be the most interesting things to do. Yeah.
Like, and then, right, like, you can do something to, like, I was talking to, I think, my brother about it. I was like, have him start out on Flash. Somehow Flash loses the symbiote, whatever, in a fight or whatever, and then attaches to Brock. Brock already has his, grudge against Spider-Man that you introduce in the second or third movie, whatever. But, Flash is teaching the symbiote, like, a relative sense of justice, right? He's a Black Ops operative, right? So, fine. Yeah. But then when he attaches to Brock, right, he has all the vengeance and the revenge and whatnot. And then when he gets off of Brock and gets back to... And then, when he fights Spider-Man with Brock, you can say, oh, well, when they were fighting, he almost ate Peter, so that's how he got the web-swinging ideas, or whatever the fuck. I don't know, however you want to do it. And then you have him go back to Flash, and now Flash has got to struggle with, keeping the symbiote that was previously under control just so he can still... continue fighting with the Guardians or whatever. I don't know. There's ways around it.
I don't understand why they didn't just let Marvel continue to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understand it from a thing, but it bothers me from creative.
Well, and it doesn't even make sense from a money angle, in my opinion. Like, I don't think you're going to make as much money as you think you're going to make off of this.
Like, to us, it doesn't make sense. To executives, they're like, well, we don't really want to split these profits. We saw what you did with Spider-Man, and we can do that with Venom.
Wrong.
And Marvel's just like, okay.
Okay. You keep thinking that. Because Marvel, they've talked about how, like, even if they had the symbiote, they wouldn't want to go back to it because they've literally done it twice now. Or it's already been tried. If fucking Fox would take a page out of that, they wouldn't keep... Oh, god damn it. That was the point I was going to make that I didn't get to fucking make in the podcast. Shit. So, fuck, I guess I'll just make it here, even though no one will actually hear it.
Splice it in.
Right. Just like, right. That's something that all the other superhero movies need to fucking learn. Marvel did multiple heroes fighting a stronger person right. I mean, we talked about the whole interlaced powers, right? You very clearly see what each hero is doing and how they're contributing to the fight, right? And when I was watching that fight, it made me think of how shitty the Apocalypse fight was. Because it's literally Apocalypse standing in a bubble while Magneto is just fucking throwing metal at him. Like, just not even like in a strategic way, not even in like for a means to an end way. He's like, I can throw metal, so I'm gonna throw metal at you, right? And Apocalypse is like vaporizing it as it comes in. And then Scott's like, well, I have laser eyes, so, and clearly what Magneto is doing is working, so I'm going to laser eye Apocalypse, and Apocalypse just, like, blows it off, right? Like, it's not, right? And then, fucking Phoenix emerges, and then she's like, well, I'm the Phoenix Force, so I'm going to overpower this, right? Like, it's just, I'm just going to throw more power at this thing kind of bullshit. Like, there was no clear definition of what each person was contributing to this fight. Like, and there were, like, again, Magneto's just fucking, like, he's literally throwing metal at him and it's being vaporized, and he's just like, I guess I'll keep doing this? Like, what else am I going to do? Kind of thing? Like, this is kind of my thing, right?
Run at him really fast.
Right. I'm going to run at him. So to see Marvel execute it on that level, to say, oh my God, like they're dividing up the responsibilities, and each character is very clearly defined as to what they can do in this fight and what they're going to do in this fight. Like, I don't know, it was amazing, for lack of a better word. Like, they definitely took time to craft it and not just say Doctor Strange is going to shoot magic at him, and then when that doesn't work, Iron Man's going to shoot repulsor beams at him, and when that doesn't work, Star-Lord's gonna shoot his guns at him, right? Like, they could have very easily just done something stupid like that, but they didn't.
Especially with Doctor Strange, and that is actually really impressive.
Oh yeah, they could have easily just fucking like shoot things at him, but it was like there were lassos, there were ropes, there were, the clone stuff, the like, oh man, goddamn it, fucking Doctor Strange, dude. All right. Fucking character. So good. So that's sorry, tangent because of that. That was all I had to say. Like I said, I just want to talk about the naming comments, the character comments, a little bit about Deadpool, and then
a little bit.
Just that. So I got nothing else unless you guys have any last minute additions to talking about the Infinity War movie or, whatever, what have you.
I just want more cosmic. Like, I just want everything to be in space. I don't even care about Earth anymore.
Just leave it alone at that point.
Screw us. We need better.
Right.
Just, if I can finally get Nova in film, it's so badass.
I hope he dies in the first movie, Brian. I hope the first time he makes an appearance.
If he does, he'll just transfer it to Lil Nova.
Whatever.
Lil Cray.
I want
to get the kid. Why can't we get Champions? It's like a TV show or something.
Right.
I want Champions. That would be badass.
Champions would be pretty dope.
Need something since I'm never gonna subscribe to watch Young Justice.
I'll watch it. I need to watch it. That's another one we should do a thing on, Brian. Like, I've been do an in-depth discussion on Young Justice because
I can't justify giving worse.
Oh, shut up. Whatever. We'll figure it out. But no, that's it for this. Like I said, it was just a little bonus because there were a couple of extra things I wanted to throw in about Infinity War and kind of its, kind of like the legacy that it's left, and then just general responses that pissed me off about the film.
I bet we're gonna get Vision back.
Oh yeah, you did say something about that you think he's gonna come back, right? We didn't talk about that.
I mean, he has to.
I think that he too.
Oh yeah.
I'd be very surprised if he doesn't.
How does he continue as a hero though? Isn't he powered by the Soul Stone, or the Mind Stone? So that way, with that gone, is he still going to be able to fight crime and phase in and out and shit?
I think it'll be whatever Shuri was working on.
Okay.
I
think she has a way to counteract him. Mind Stone.
She, if anybody,
Yeah.
starts to.
Can we what, Sam? What
Can
were you
we
saying?
can we talk about who we think is coming back and who is not?
Oh yeah, I guess we didn't really touch on that.
Well,
Kind of
Loki
important.
for sure is not coming back.
Yeah,
Really?
I think Loki's
Yeah.
dead. Well, because
Loki's probably.
he kind of fulfilled, like, his arc doesn't really have anywhere else to go, in my opinion. Like, just from a storytelling perspective.
It doesn't mean that he
Plus,
won't.
like
I mean,
that was the last noble thing that he did was he gave his life and saved his brother.
Mm-hmm.
Like that alone kind of solidifies it as being like a fun act for him.
For sure.
okay.
So I think Loki stays dead.
Gamora's gonna stay dead.
Gamora's probably gonna stay.
More than
Maybe
likely.
not.
Well, there's
Probably,
the
but
whole her being in the soul, because I think there's like a soul stone reality or soul reality, some shit like that.
Yeah.
And that plays kind of a part at some point. So maybe.
Because I feel like there's gonna have to be some kind of interaction. There's gonna have to be at least one more interaction between her and Peter. However that happens.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't talk about Nebula and how much I want more Nebula. Like she fucking like, oh my god,
You're
like
in for a treat because she's gonna be in it a lot in the next movie.
Yeah.
good.
She
just
actually
'cause, like
in there's a comic book storyline where she plays a big role in taking down
Yeah.
Thanos. So it's entirely possible they take stuff from that.
because I think
Like there's a
her
lot of the characters in Guardians of the Galaxy that also get a lot of play in animation.
well, it's a lot of like it just I guess from an outside perspective, like she lost her sister and you really feel for it in this movie,
Mm-hmm.
surprisingly.
Mm-hmm. No,
So
I get you.
I actually want more Nebula in it. I think that's one of my biggest complaints with the other Guardian movies is that there hasn't been enough.
Uh-huh.
But we'll see what happens.
Gotcha.
Also, I
Oh,
think I had mentioned previously that Ronan was going to be in Captain Marvel.
oh, interesting. Ronan,
Which-
Clint Ronan
The
or
Accuser.
Ronan? Oh,
No,
Ronan
Ronan
the
the
Accuser.
Accuser.
That's right. I keep getting the fucking.
Which
That-
means that whatever's going on in Captain Marvel is going to tie most likely to what happened to Xandar.
For sure. I was gonna say.
Also,
Go ahead.
sorry, go.
No, go ahead. Because mine's is
No,
more
no,
of a
go
funny
ahead.
thing.
No, that's fine.
When Peter was talking to Thor, and Thor was like, "Yeah, I lost my dad, and I had my brother got killed, and I had to kill my sister." And then Peter was like, "Yo, well, my dad ended up trying to destroy the universe, and I had to kill him. So I think that's actually much more difficult than your sister." And I was just like, "God damn it, Peter, you fucking."
That scene was
Dude, oh man, I can't wait till this fucking movie comes. You think they're gonna do an entire set of DVDs from beginning to Infinity War?
I
Like a
don't know.
re-release.
Yeah, like here's
All three phases.
here's phase 1 through 3. I know they've done a phase 1 collection and a phase 2 collection, but like here's a Infinity Gauntlet that has all fucking 20 DVDs with.
That's gonna be like
Justify
it's gonna be super rare, like one-time limited edition bullshit.
Right. Yeah, we'll have to see how that turns out. But
yeah, I think that I am disappointed we didn't get any, and we're probably
any what? You cut out, sorry.
which is kind of
I still can't hear you, Brian.
Huh?
You're cutting out. You're cutting out.
why does this keep happening? I hate everything. No, I was saying that. I mean, I was disappointed we didn't get Clint in this movie, and
Oh.
because we didn't get him in how everything played out, we most likely won't get any Ronan.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brian. I'm sorry that your favorite character is not going to be in it.
I mean, Hawkeye will be in it, but I don't think that Ronan will be in.
Gotcha.
I'm surprised that Hawkeye wasn't more, I guess, in this.
I mean,
But I can see why.
I'd be willing to bet that like his wife died when everything happened.
Yeah,
Well, the whole
Image
reason they said
kids.
that they weren't in it is, I think what they said was like Scott and Clint are kind of off the grid because of the whole family situation. So because Scott has his family that kind of like involved in it now because he is, and because Clint's family got involved with the Ultron kind of thing, that they were kind of trying to lay low or
Yeah.
kind of stay out of the light so that way it doesn't potentially have repercussions on their family. Which is
Isn't
interesting because they're like the only two characters in this universe so far that like really have family. Like, well, okay, Peter has Aunt May, but that's still relatively new, right? But Peter has Aunt May, Scott has his family, but like Tony does. Pepper's, his assistant, so that's not as like she's not outside of the universe, right? She's still very much connected to it. But like Rhodey doesn't have like they don't ever talk about that or Bucky or Cap, right? Because all his family, he's kind of by himself, kind of shit. So I don't know.
I will say after Q turned me on to the Hawkeye comics, like I'm really upset after watching Ultron that he has a wife and kids. I was like, why? Why? This doesn't need to happen. This is dumb.
Gotcha.
Because in order for them to continue his character properly, they have to kill them.
It's just it's
Because
dumb.
tragedy breeds the best heroes.
It has to be a family. You can't express it any other way. Like, whatever. Stupid.
I really want more Hawkeye,
Well,
and
we'll
I want it in a way that makes sense.
we'll see if you get it.
Hey, bro.
All right. Well, that's all I had for this. You guys good?
Annihilation Phase 4.
Shut up. It'll be Kree and Scroll, whatever. All right.
What? Hold up. Last thing.
Mhm.
So we know the next movies in that are coming out that we know are Ant-Man and Wasp this year in
Yep.
July.
Yep.
Then next year is Captain Marvel and Infinity War 2, I'm going to call it. Is there any other movie that's coming out next year? I don't think so. Unless you all know.
I'm literally looking it up right now, just in case.
Okay.
I thought there was
So officially, Ant-Man and the Wasp, July 6th, 2018.
Right.
Um,
Then Captain Marvel.
let's see. Hold on. Then Captain Marvel, March 8th, 2019.
And then Infinity War.
Hey, look, they get a reunion, Brian. You think they'll make a if Cap runs in Cap Marvel and Chris Evans get screen time, they'll make a offhand Scott Pilgrim reference,
maybe. That would be amusing.
right? Like, are you a vegan? No, I would never, right? Some shit like that. May 3rd is the untitled Avengers 4 film, and that's 2019. Spider-Man: Homecoming is July 5th, 2019. So actually, 2 months after that, which will be interesting.
Really?
Dude, I want to see. I really hope they don't shy away from Peter having to deal with the fact that he fucking died. Like,
That would be interesting.
I want him to like struggle with that, right? Like, I want him to be affected by that, like the fact that he fucking died. So
there is no information that I have seen about pre-production or any type of production for Spider-Man. So that's interesting.
And then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 has been confirmed for 2020.
2020. Yes. Wow. Holy shit. I wonder what they're going to do.
That's right.
I'm willing to bet that they're waiting until after event. Or they're probably not going to wait until after, but they'll probably wait like the end of the year to start announcing what films are going to be coming out.
Well, because you got to they can go multiple directions after the deal goes through. It's supposed to go through, mid-year this year, middle of the year kind of territory, end of the year, if the deal goes through. So, yeah. But supposedly it's supposed to be the end of the story for this particular group of Guardians. So that's why Brian saying that Nova could be introduced definitely has more weight.
And Venom?
I think it'll be interesting. Venom, like, it would be so cool if they did that. It's not going to happen, but it would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a Guardian story arc about being in the Guardian, and like they go to the symbiote home.
I mean, he's from a different planet too, so technically,
yeah, it makes sense.
Like, it's all really cool stuff that they could do in a way that makes sense with the story they've been building, instead of just like trying to shoe it into based on a comic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's all I had. You guys getting online at all? Or are you going to call it a night? Because it's 3 a.m.
It's 3? Holy shit.
Right?
Sam's like, I have work.
I need to get sober.
Sorry, Sam.
Just watch Guardians of the Galaxy.
If we're doing our thing of watching the movies, then I'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to do it within a year before the next movie comes out.
Right.
A year?
That won't be too hard. No, I don't think that'll be too hard.
You say that.
But
John, almost still haven't.
Brian, shut the fuck up about Bright. You cut out, and I already know that's what you fucking said. Maybe I'll watch it tomorrow. I don't know. I got an episode of My Hero Academia I gotta watch, so whatever. But
So are we not? Are we? As I said, I was.
Wait, I didn't hear you, bro. You keep cutting it out.
I said I was gonna get on.
Okay, I'll get on. I'll see you online then. Sam, take your ass to bed. You gotta work.
Yeah, I gotta go. All
right.
Well, have a good night.
Yeah, good night. Thanks for staying with us for the after hours.
Later.
Bye.